All right, this is Silly Salmon section 5, and this one should even be shorter than the last one. So I know we had a couple of really long ones in here, but now we're getting some shorter ones to kind of make up for that. So in this section, all we're really going to do is we're going to add a coin to the game, and we're going to set up like a scoring system and a coin system, and then basically get them to spawn and be able to be collected. Okay, so we're going to start by highlighting the obstacle layer to make sure that we make our objects on the right layer, and we're going to make a coin sprite. So go ahead and just double click, make a sprite, call it coin. Click on the screen to put it on there. So for the coin, this one actually is set up as a sprite strip. So if we right click in the frames window, import frames from a strip. And then if you just go back into your main folder here, here's the coin right here. Okay, and you can see this is a vertical sprite strip, which is something we haven't really had yet. So when you go down here, you want horizontal to be 1, and you want vertical to be 4. Okay, and then direction here, we can change it to vertical. And then replace the whole animation and click import, and we're good to go. Okay, you can see here, it's like kind of hard to see, but you can zoom in on it if you want to get closer up to it. But I think the collision box is good. We shouldn't really have to change that. But what we do want to do is we want to change the animation speed. So click on animation, make sure speed, we're going to go 6, and we want to make sure that it does loop. Okay, and then we're going to do something called ping pong. Okay, so what ping pong means is that if we normally loop, so like when it gets to 3, if we don't have ping pong on, it's going to go back to 0. So it's going to look weird because when it animates, it's going to be this really skinny line and then just be really fat right away. So what ping pong does is think of like the animation as like a ping pong ball being hit back and forth. So the animation is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and then when it gets to 3, when it loops, it's actually going to go back to 2, and then go 3, 2, 1, 0. So basically, the animation is going to be like my cursor. It's just going to ping pong back and forth, and it's going to loop that way. Whereas without ping pong, it would go from 3 and then jump back to 0, go to 3, jump back to 0 like that. That's the normal animation. Ping pong is just back and forth like this. Okay. All right. So we've got that set. Then we're going to give the coin the bullet behavior. What I would do is I would make sure the coin is down on the bottom with all of your other objects. Okay, we're going to go with the coin selected. We're going to go behavior, add new behavior, bullet. Okay, we got bullet behavior on. And then one setting that we need to change is we need the set angle off. And that's all we should really have to do with that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our event and we're going to start to do some stuff with the coin on our event sheet. So what we want to do is we want to find the every 1 second event. This is going to be an obstacle create. So go to the obstacle create group. You should have this event here that says every 1 second. For mine, it's number 25. So if yours is exactly like mine, that's where yours should be, but yours could be a little different. Okay. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that every 5 seconds, there's a chance a coin will spawn. And then when it spawns, we're going to make it spawn in groups of 3, and we're going to make it choose one of the 3 lanes to spawn in. So it'll get a little bit complicated, but it's not too bad. Okay. So I'm going to add a sub event to the every 1 second event. So I'm going to right click here where my cursor is. We're going to add a sub event. Sub event. Okay. We're going to do system compare to values. And we're gonna do quite a few of these modulo expressions. So I'll refresh you guys on what that is when we get this first one in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do game time for the value, game time percent. So that's shift 5, and then the number 5, and then we're gonna say equal to 0. Okay. So game time percent 5 equals 0. So this is the modulo expression. So remember what it's going to do. It's going to take the game time, divide it by 5, and find the remainder. And as long as the remainder is 0. So for example, when the game time reaches 5 seconds, this will trigger, and then it's going to trigger again at 10, and then at 15, and then at 20. Basically, anytime it's evenly divisible by 5. So basically, in short, this is saying every 5 seconds, something is going to happen. Okay. So now that event's going to go way down here. Okay, so game time percent 5. And what you could do is if you minimize this game time percent 2, you click that black arrow, it should look like this. They should be even with each other. And I kind of recommend you minimize certain parts to make sure that it looks right. Okay. So all I did was, remember, if you click the black arrows on anything with sub events, it'll just expand or open them up. Okay, so we have the game time %5 equals 0. What we're going to do is we're going to make a comment on here so that we remember what this does. So I'm going to right click right here on my game time %5. We're going to add a comment. And basically what's going to happen is every 5 seconds, there will be a 50% chance uh, spawn 3 coins. Now we haven't done the 50% or the 3 coins yet, but we know that this is what the event is going to do. So every 5 seconds, there will be a 50% chance to spawn 3 coins. All right. That's what this game time %5 is going to be doing. Right now, we just have the every 5-second part of this. That's what this is. Okay. All right. Then we also need a couple of local variables to program in here. Basically, we need to make something called coin chance that's going to determine if the coin actually triggers and spawns. And then we have to make another one called coin lane that's going to tell us which lane to put the coin in. So I'm going to right click on the game time %5. We're going to add local variable. Okay, and let's do coin chance. And that can just be 0. And then we're going to do a coin lane. So right click game time %5 again, add local. And we're going to do coin lane. All right, so we have coin chance equals 0, coin lane equals 0. Perfect. All right. So then what we're going to do is on this event, so this is the every 5 seconds, we want to set the 50% chance for coin chance to trigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an action here, system set value. Okay, we are going to do coin chance, and we're going to do floor random 2. So we're just going to do floor, and I'll remind you what this means again. We've been using these floor random events quite a bit, so you should start to remember what it does. All right, floor random 2. So remember, it's just going to pick a random number out of 2 numbers. Remember, a computer starts counting at 0. So floor random 2 means basically it's going to do 0 or 1. That's basically what this is 0 or 1. Okay, and then floor means it's going to round it down. Let me show you just a bonus thing here. So if you know it's a 50% chance and it's only going to be 0 or 1, there is like a little bit of an easier way to do this. I could just type in the word choose, and I could do parentheses, and I could just do 0, 1. And this essentially is the same thing. It's just going to choose 0 or 1. Okay. So that's definitely another way you can do it. I would say when you're doing randomization and you're have like a limited number of choices, like maybe 0 to 5 choices, you could just do a choose and then just separate the choices by comma. This is like what we did on the flip game when you're like the dragon is choosing the actions. This is the exact same thing. It's just choosing 0 or 1. Okay. But because I'm following the presentation, I'll do it the way that they have it set. So we'll just do floor. I'll just type this in again. Random. Literally, floor random 2 is the exact same thing as choose 0 or 1. Okay. Whoops. Oh, yeah, duh. Wait, floor. Oh, yeah, I need a parentheses next right here. All right. All right. So set coin chance to floor random 2. So essentially, it's going to choose 0 or 1 is what that is going to do. And that's all that we should have there. So then basically we're going to have a sub event, and we're going to say if coin chance hits 1, that's when it's going to return true and give us a coin. So I'm going to add a sub event to the game time 5 event. So add sub event. Okay. And then I'm going to say system compare variable, and we're going to say coin chance equals 1. Okay. So when it randomizes the coin chance, if it returns as 1, then this is going to trigger. And then what's going to happen is when this triggers, we need to um, basically set what coin lane it's going to be on. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an action. We're going to do system set value coin lane, and this one's going to be floor random 3. Floor random 3. Floor random 3 would be the same as choose 0, 1, or 2. That's basically the options we're going to get with this. Okay. So if coin chance equals 1 and it spawns a coin, then it's going to choose what lane it's going to go with. Then, so here it's going to choose the lane, but now we actually need to spawn the coin, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to do system, create object. I'll just type it in, create, and we're going to make a coin. Okay, now the layer and the locations are going to be very important here, okay? So the layer for the coin is going to be on layer 2, okay? The x coordinate is going to be a little bit tricky, okay? So what we're going to do for the x coordinate, this is how we're going to use the coin lane now. So we're going to do coin lane, okay, times 160. And I want parentheses around that part. This is like an order of operations thing, the order that we want that to go. So we're going to do coin lane times 160 in parentheses, and then at the end, we're going to do plus 200. Okay, so the x coordinate, that's choosing the lane because that's where the coin's going to be placed from left to right. Okay, the y coordinate for the first one here is going to be negative 10. Okay, so let me just explain how this coin lane part works. Okay, so the coin lane basically can return 0, 1, or 2, right? And the equation is going to be coin lane times 160. So if coin lane is 0, so it's coin lane times 160 plus 200, right? So if coin lane comes back as 0, it's going to do 0 times 160, which is 0, plus 200. So if coin lane is at 0, the coin's going to spawn at 200. Okay? If the coin lane is at 1, it's going to be 1 times 160, which is 1, plus 200 is 360. So coin lane 1 will be 360. Coin lane 2, it'll be coin lane times 160. So 2 times 160, which is 320, plus 200 is 420. So basically, and if you wanted to make a comment here, you could. You could make a comment that basically the coin's going to spawn at an x coordinate of 200, 360, or 420. And so if we look at our game, the thing is you can always move your cursor around, and down here where my mouse is right now, you'll see the word mouse. It's telling you the X and Y coordinate of the mouse. So I could move it and figure out where that is. So if I move my mouse like right here, this is about an X coordinate of 200. So this is going to be lane 1 where the coins would spawn. Okay, lane 2 was 360, so that's going to be right in the middle. Okay, and lane 3 is 420, which is approximately um or was it 520? It might be 520, right? 360. Yeah, sorry. It's 520. 520. So it'd be like right over here. So 520 is the last one. My bad on that one. So it's going to spawn at 200, 360, or 520 are the three X coordinates. Okay. Me and math, I tell you. All right. So we've got that one set. Now, what we want to do is we want to create 3 coins behind each other. So what we're going to do is instead of spawning 1 coin, I'm going to right click this and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to right click it and paste it. And then I'm going to right click it and paste again. So now I'm spawning 3 coins. Okay. Now, the problem with this is that they're all going to spawn in the exact same spot, right? So what we want is we want a row of coins behind each other. Well, notice for the y coordinate, we're spawning them at negative 10. So if I go to my game, negative 10 is just 10 pixels above the layout, right? So to make a row of coins, we just make the other 2 spawn higher up than the first one. So I'm going to change the y coordinate on the second one to negative 70. I'm going to change the y coordinate on the third one to negative 130. Okay, so if we do that, that means now it's spawning 3 coins, but this one is higher up than the first one, and this one's higher up than the other 2. So it should spawn them in a nice row. Actually, kind of like what you see right here. They're just going to spawn in a nice row like that and kind of move down towards us. That's basically what we're going to do. Okay, so then what we want to do is now we have a chance for it to spawn. So if we just review this really quickly, right? So basically every 5 seconds, it's got a 50% chance to spawn because coin chance is going to be 0 or 1. If coin chance returns as 1, it's going to set the coin lane to either 0, 1, or 2. And then basically it's going to spawn the 3 coins um, in the lane based on what this equation tells us where we put the coin lane into the equation. Okay. All right. So what I like to do is I like to minimize what I'm not using. Now we want to basically destroy the coin. So let's go to obstacle destroy. Basically, we need this exact same event for the coin. So I'm just going to right click and copy the tire code. And I'm going to right click and paste it again. And then I'm going to right click on tires and replace object with the coin. And I got to replace this tire with the coin. Okay, so basically it should just say coin. If its y is greater than the layout height plus self dot height, then coin destroy. Okay. Now there's going to be another coin destroy here to try to like collect a coin by leaping into something that's going to kill them, right? So what we're going to do for that is we're going to say we're going to add another event to obstacle destroy. And basically, we want to know if the coin is overlapping another object. So we're going to say overlapping another object. Okay. And basically, we want to know if the coin is overlapping the outcrop left. Okay. And this is going to be the same event for outcrop right or the island. So we're going to make this an OR block again. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to do make OR block. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to add another condition. And we want to do coin on collision. And we want to do outcrop right. And then we want to add another condition, coin on collision with another object. And we want to do the island. So now we're going to say if the coin is overlapping the outcrops or the island, we will destroy the coin. I could simply just copy this down, or you could just retype that in if you need to. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple of variables that will basically track how many coins we have and how many points we have. So just out in the open area here, you're going to right click. We're going to add a global variable. We're going to make one called coins. And it can be a number that equals 0. Okay. And what I might do is minimize these other groups I'm not using. I'm going to right click in the open area here, add another global variable. This one's going to be score. So the reason why we need two variables, um, we actually want to know how many coins we collect because later on we're going to create a store where we can purchase things with the coins. Okay. The score is going to be basically tracking how long you survive because this is an infinite, like survive as long as you can game. So the score is we're going to program it through the minutes for the score to increase every so many seconds so that it's basically just tracking how long you play. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to do the collision with the coins so we can actually collect them. So we're going to go into obstacle collisions. We're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to add an event to obstacle collisions. We're going to do salmon on collision with another object when he collides with the coin. Okay, and basically when you hit the coin, we want to destroy the coin and add one to our coin variable. So add action for coin, and you can just type in destroy, and then add another action, and we're going to do system, add to, we're going to add one to coins. Okay, so that's our simple collision event. That's pretty basic, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the every 1 second event again. So that is an obstacle create. And here's your every 1 second event. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make it so that every so often the game speed is going to increase so the game gets more difficult. Because if we keep the game speed at 350, if a player is good enough and they like are good at that level, they're just going to be able to play forever. So we have to have the game increase speed to basically get to the point where it's going to be impossible to survive so that like no matter how good you are, there's going to be a point where the game is going to basically make sure that there's a way to end. No player is going to be able to survive forever. Okay. Um, So what we're going to do is on this every 1 second event, we're going to make a sub event. So make sure you're right here where my cursor is. Okay. You're going to right click on this spot. We're going to add a sub event. Okay. And the sub event is going to be system compare two values. We're going to do another modulo expression. Okay. We're going to do game time. And we're going to do percent 20 equals 0. Okay. And what I might do is I might minimize the every 1 second here, or no, not the every 1 second. I might minimize the, let me see, game time. Oh yeah, I want to minimize the game time %2 and the game time %5 there. So they should all be even like this. So if you minimize these, the game time %2, the game time %5, and the game time %20 should all be even. Okay. So this one meant that every 5 seconds something will happen. So this one is going to be every 20 seconds. So let's add a comment on the game time %20 so that we know what that does. So I'm going to right click here, add a comment. Okay. And this is going to be um, every 20 seconds, we are going to increase the game speed by 25. Okay. That's what this event is going to do. Okay. So every 20 seconds, which is this condition here, we're going to add an action. We're going to do system add to game speed 25. Okay. Then what we have to do is, since we're increasing the game speed, we need to make sure all of our objects on the screen also adjust to that game speed. So this one's going to take a minute, but basically we have to do a game speed event for every object in our game. There should be 9 of them. So I'm going to add an action, and we'll start with land left. Land left, and we're going to type in speed. And we want to set the bullet speed to game speed. Okay. So what I recommend you do is just copy and paste this like 8 more times. So I'm just going to copy it, and then I'm just going to right click on land left and paste, and I'm going to keep right clicking land left and pasting until I have 9 of these. Paste, 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 keep pasting away. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. So you should have 9. And then basically you're just going to replace all of these 8 other land lefts with the other objects in your game. So let's right click this second land left here, replace object, and we're going to do land right. Okay, we're going to right click the third one, replace object, and we're going to do the outcrops. So let's do outcrop left. And then let's replace this one with outcrop right. Right there. Okay, let's replace the next one with island. Replace object island. Let's replace this one with the log. Let's replace this one with the tires. Let's replace this one. We'll do the boat. And then the last one will be the coin. Now, just so you know, the order of these doesn't matter, but just make sure you have all 9 objects in here. Land left, land right, outcrop left, outcrop right, island, log, tires, boat, coin. So basically, anytime the game speed increases by 25, all of these are going to also increase with it. Now, you might ask, why do we need to do that? Because if we go into obstacle create, right, and we look in here, let's say I look here, every time I create an outcrop or any of these objects, I'm setting the game speed here. So if I'm setting the game speed when they're created, why do I need to put all of these here? This event or these events right here, they're basically for the existing ones that are already on the screen that have already spawned. Because what's going to happen is when the game speed increases, there's going to be current ones on the screen that have already spawned, and that event has passed. So you want to make sure that as soon as the game speed increases, they immediately increase with it. That's why we're adding it in again here. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. We're actually almost done. We're getting really close here. So now basically what we're going to do is we're going to do an event for the score. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that like every so many seconds, we're just going to naturally get points added to our score. So we're going to go in the obstacle create group, which I have open. We're just going to add a new event to the bottom of the group. So do add event to obstacle create. And we're going to do a system every X seconds. Okay, every X seconds. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier, okay? Just type in what I do and I'm going to explain it when we're done. We're going to do DT times, so times is shift 8, and then we're going to do parentheses, and then we're going to do 1500 divided by game speed. Okay, so this event says every DT times 1500 divided by game speed seconds. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an action, and we're going to do system add to score 1. Okay, now let me break down this event for you. Okay, when you're playing the game is going to get more difficult and it's going to get faster. So you don't want a generic statement like every 5 seconds I get a point, because as the game gets faster, the players should get rewarded with more points more quickly. So DT, if you might remember that from Asteroid Destroyer, that just stands for delta time. So that just means it's going to do like every 1 natural second. It's not going to, if you don't have the delta time on there, this is going to process as fast as it can. And by putting delta time on there, it's just going to be like every natural second or every natural tick. Okay. 1500 divided by game speed, that's just a simple equation so that um, we will get this one score quicker as the game gets harder. So as an example, our game speed starts at 350, okay? So when you start the game, it's going to take 1500 divided by 350, which is 4.2. So basically, when you start the game, this event is saying every 4.2 seconds, add 1 to score. Now, let's say you play the game a while and your game speed builds up to 400. Then what's going to happen? It's going to take 1500 divided by 400, which is 3.75. So if your game speed builds up to 400, then it's going to be every 3.75 seconds. So basically, what you will see is that as the game gets harder, your score will increase faster. And so that's a good way to reward the player for completing more difficult content. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for that. Okay. And if you wanted to make a comment explaining that to yourself, you absolutely could do that. Okay. All right, then we're just going to add a sub event onto this one we just made. And this will be the last one. We're going to do system compare to values. We're going to do another modulo expression. We're going to do score. And we're going to do percent 200 equal to 0. Okay, so this basically is saying every 200 points, add an action, we're going to do system, add 2, and we're going to add 1 to coins. So basically what this event is saying is every 200 points we earn, it's just going to reward us with a free coin. Okay. If you change this number, like if you did score percent 100, then that means every 100 points you would get a coin. I mentioned that because there may be an additional exercise involving this. So if you watch this video, that will be a helpful hint for you there. All right, that is basically it for section 5. Make sure you guys are saving often, and then I'll see you on the next one.